Hallelujah. Siami, Siami Ben Anzambi. All praises to the Most High. Welcome back to another powerful, full of information by our sister, our Queen Sister, Tabitha. And we are honored to have Dada, is that correct? Our Dada with us. And I'm not going to prolong any longer. So I will turn it over to her. Hallelujah. Welcome, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you, Matondo Masaka. Asante sana, asante baraka mingi. Mbarikiwe, muinuliwe. Mungu Baba wainue, awabariki, awape nguvu, awape neema, washushie uwepo wake, awabariki na awatunze, awalinde siku zote. Amina. All right. Greetings, Banabedu. So today we have much, but we will do what we can for today, as the Most High will lead us, all right? So the Spirit of the Most High corrected me last time. We read about the Garden of Eden. So he planted the garden in the east. So east is Eden, right? So Mocha is Eden, all right? So some people said the garden disappeared. It didn't disappear. The remnants are still there. So the remnants of the garden, you can see the remnants of the garden. So today we will look at the trade routes, the trade ruins. We will see the evidence of what we traded in the east coast of Africa, because this very evidence is the same evidence you will use in the West African trade. Whatever happened in the East African trade is the same thing that was copied and pasted in the transatlantic slave trade. So once you understand what happened on this side and the people who were involved, then now you will know how they shifted this and took it to the West African coast, And from the West African coast, even sailing, they used the same method. They used the same items in trade. Gold was involved and many other things, and human trafficking happened as well. So we will see that nothing significant happened on the Mediterranean Sea. Nothing. The answer to what we've been seeking, what we've been looking at is on the East African coast and on the West African coast and at the Cape. That's why they were dying to reach the Cape. And once they reached in the Cape, they called it the Cape of Good Hope. They saw now we have hope. Those are those people. But for us, it was not a Cape of Good Hope. All our continent was full of hope because we knew each and every port. We knew each and every place. But for them, just recently is when they found out the Cape. And then once they got there now, from there, they got an avenue to go to the West African coast. So the East African coast is the beginning of all these things. So that's why we're concentrating on the East coast. And the Most High corrected me. So East Mocha, our Mocha is our Eden, all right? It's our Eden. And for now, we will not believe what they told us. For now, let us put our garden there. It doesn't mean that there were no plants in other places, but we will find out today. We will find out today why that place was called Eden and why when they translate the word Eden, they say it means pleasant, and why this was very special to the Most High, all right? So I will go very fast, but our introduction, first of all, will be, do we know our land? Let us look at Deuteronomy 11, 8 to 32. Then we will come to the trade and the other things. So Yaya Mazambis, help me here, help me out. Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy 11.
Yes, 8 to 32. Like this.
All right. Deuteronomy 11th chapter, verses 8 through 32.
Yes, yes.
Therefore shall ye keep all the commandments which I command you this day, that ye may be strong and go in and possess the land, whither ye go to possess it, and that ye may prolong your days in the land, which in Zombie swear unto your fathers to give unto them and to their seed, a land that floweth with milk and honey. But the land whither thou goest in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt. For whence ye came out, where thou sowest thy seed, and waterest it with thy foot as a garden of herbs. But the land whither ye go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven. A land which Nzambi thy Yah careth forth. The eyes of Nzambi thy Yah are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year. And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day, to love Nzambi your Yah, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you the rain of your land in the due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thine oil. And I will send grass in the field. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that they mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And when Nzambi's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, unless ye perish quickly from off the good land which Nzambi giveth you. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words, forgive me, in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets but between your eyes. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children in the land which Nzambi swear unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you, to do them, to love Nzambi your Yah, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, then will Nzambi drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea shall your coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before you. For Nzambi, your Yah, shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he had said unto you. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of Nzambi your Yah, which I command you this day. And a curse if you will not obey the commandments of Nzambi your Yah, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods, which ye have not known. And it shall come to pass, when in Zombie, thy Yah hath brought thee in unto the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Jerusalem, and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side of Jordan, by the way where the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the Champaign, over against Gilgal, beside the plains of Moreh? For ye shall pass over Jordan to go in to possess the land, which in Zombie your Yah giveth you, and ye shall possess it and dwell therein. And ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. Ingeta. Bayete.
Ingeta, blessings, blessings.
I started at 8.
Okay, another one, this Deuteronomy 8, 1 to 20.
Deuteronomy 8.
1 to 20.
1 through 20.
Verse 1, yes.
Okay. And it reads, all the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which in Zombie swear unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which in Zombie thy Yah led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of an Zombie doeth man live. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so in Zombie chasteneth thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of thy Yah, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For in Zombie bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of oil, olive and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless in Zombie for the good land which he hath given thee. Beware that thou forget not the land of thy Yah. Let me start over, in verse 11. Beware that thou forget not in Zombie thy Yah, in not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command thee this day. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses and dwell therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget thy Zombie, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, who led thee through great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, and there was no water, who brought forth thee water out of the rock of flint, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do thee good at thy latter end. And thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth. But thou shalt remember Nzambi, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget Nzambi, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day, that ye shall surely perish. As the nations which Nzambi destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye will not be obedient unto the voice of Nzambi, your Elimo, your Yah.
Doesn't sound like the land that we was taught.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Matondo, blessings, blessings. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. And thank you for Mama who led in the prayer. Thank you. Blessings very much. Our elders are a blessings. Our elders are a big, big blessings.
Yes.
To all of us.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, Mama. Be blessed. Ubarikiwe sana, sana, sana. Very, very much. All right. So I have this. English is my third language. I hope you understand what I'm saying. All right. Yeah, people here in Dubai think English is our second language, but actually English is our third language. And to other people, it's a fourth language. So I will try my best, and the Most High will put the words in my mouth, all right? Okay, so when you share this video to your children, tell them this person doesn't know this language. So they will listen to the pronunciation keenly, right? So Yaya Mazambi, thank you so much. Baraka sana. So the first verse, as we've seen, for those who are new, those who are still doubting. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, all right, all right. So that this is what we've read, that our land is with milk and honey, isn't it? That is natural resources. Rain. Where else do you have latter rain and the other rain? In tropical Africa, the tropical climate enables you to have 2 seasons of rain, March to May, and the short rains from September and October. That is the description of Southern Africa. I can say like the equator going down, all right? So the Most High described this land perfectly. This is where we have 2 seasons of rain, all right? He talks about grass. Even Mzungu, all the geographers, they know this. The largest grassland savanna in the world is in Africa. From West Africa, just nearing the almost touching the Sahara Desert, until the Cape is all plateaus, grasslands, and plains. You can graze 1 billion cattle in Africa. You can keep as many cattle as you want. Some communities have 10,000 cattle. You see somebody has 3,000 heads of sheep. He has 2,000 cows. That is Africa, right? Not in the middle of the middle. In the middle of the, no. You can't keep such whatever, they will die, all right? Then he describes tropical climate, that is equatorial climate, it's tropical climate. Equatorial climate is a kind of climate whereby you live in an area, equator is crossing your country. The equator crosses your country and divides your country into half. Those people who will be near the equator will experience a climate that is called equatorial kind of climate. And they will also experience a type of rainfall that is called equatorial rainfall. And when you see in the west coast of Africa, there are countries called Equatorial Guinea. So those countries around that point experience a lot of rain that is influenced by the equator. So they have tropical or equatorial kind of climate, and they have equatorial climate kind of rainfall. So the Most High just described the tropics. In Africa, all the tropics cross Africa. Africa is in the center. You have the Tropic of Cancer, the equator, and the Tropic of Capricorn. All these cross Africa. In South America, you have two tropics crossing South America. That's why you see the climate you see in South America. Then in Australia, there is one tropic also that crosses Australia. That's why you see that kind of climate on that side. And in the Nordics, in the north, there is nothing there. That's why you see what you see, the kind of climate they have there. So when we come to food and fruits, there are fruits that can only grow in tropical climates. Like they must have the influence of the equator. So those fruits, we call them tropical fruits. There are some plants that cannot do well in very cold places like in Europe. So what they had to do, they had to come to Africa and grow those crops and then export to their lands. A good example is coffee. Coffee, tea cannot grow in Europe. So when they got the coffee beans in the Ethiopian plateau, in the Ethiopian highlands, it's very late. It's just recently, 16th century. While us, we've been in the garden drinking coffee and using coffee for other purposes for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. All right. So the people in Britain just started drinking coffee just recently, a few centuries ago, you see. So the Most High is describing your land very perfectly. The Most High knows his geography because he is the maker of the geography. He is the maker of the rain. He knows you will have 2 seasons of rain. And that is what exactly happens in Africa. And we grow crops twice a year. There are some crops we grow twice a year, especially the grains, because of the kind of climate we have. Then in Deuteronomy 8, 1 to 20, it tells you that stones of iron, which means minerals, and then you will have lots of bread, which means the grains can grow very well in your homeland. You know, about West Africa, there is a place they used to call Grain Coast. The Grain Coast, yes. They used to come there and get grains. Why? Because this is the land the grain will do well. The beans, and you know, in every country in Africa, they have provinces they call the basket of the country. Where the grain grows very well, they call it the basket. So we have different towns and we call it the grain basket. We know this place, all the grains we need in our country shall come from this place, right? Then, hills of copper. You go to Uganda, you find a lot of copper. You go to Zambia, the hills are of copper. That one is 100%. Brooks of water. Brooks of water, they are all over. You come to the Nile Basin, you come to the Congo Basin, you come to the Great Lakes region, lots and lots of water. You go to South Africa, lots and lots of water, all right? So because he will give you animals, he will give you grass. After the animals eat the grass, they need water to drink, isn't it? So he'll have to give you brooks and brooks of water. And you can see like Uganda is a very small country, but Uganda in the whole world is a country that has a lot of water, like a lot of rivers and streams and springs, just a small country with so many streams and whatever. That's why these people died looking for the source of the Nile. They were wondering, where is all this water coming from? All right. And the brooks of water, fountains and springs that flow out of valleys and hills. So this land has got valleys and hills, all right? Valleys and hills. So I don't see valleys in that place. I don't see hills in that. In fact, the few hills they have, they call them mountains. I don't know which geography these people studied. I used to think they are smart, but I came to know that this smartness of theirs, maybe it's not of the Most High, that's why. You see, you know a mountain. Do people really know what is a mountain? A mountain. So how do you call a hill over there a mountain? There's a very big difference, even in elevation. And mountains are also, they also have an impact on the climate of that area. If you live near a mountain, you'll just know there is a mountain nearby, because you will be having, if you're on the windward side, you'll be having a lot of rain. If you're on the leeward backside, you'll be not be having a lot of rain, but you will notice that this place, there is a mountain, you see? So when you go to that land and they show you a hill, and that area around that hill, you can't see any climatic changes or anything of the sort. Just know that it's a big lie. So wheat and barley, figs, fig trees are all over. A fig tree is also native to Africa, just like a sycamore tree. A fig tree is also native to Africa. And we have fig trees that are thousands and thousands of years old. All right. And honey. In Africa, we have, you know, natural honey, the native bees, not this GMO, native bees, the real ones. And they make their honeycombs in the forest, in the wood, all right? So there are some tribes that are very good in that, harvesting wild honey, we call wild honey. You just take a little and you feel better. If you're sick, you feel better. All right, and then there is silver and gold. So now you know your land has mountains, has rivers, has waterfalls, it has grasslands, all right? So no doubt about that, and 2 seasons of rain, right? Yeah. The fig tree is very, very important, all right? So, I'll just go back to Genesis 2, just to paraphrase, right? So the Most High reminded me that east, where he put man and he made the garden, is Eden, all right. When the Europeans came to Africa, they used to call this place Al-Kebulan, they call this place Eden, they call this place many, many names. Then when they started conquering, they started changing the names. They started calling it Olympia. They started calling, I don't know, Kofi, Cyrenica, other names, you see. So they knew this is Eden, and then they knew now Eden is where we're going to steal. Now, what were they coming to steal? Luxurious goods. They didn't leave Europe because there was no food. There was food there. But they came to steal luxurious goods, because even Asia, they would have gone and found food. They came to steal luxurious goods, luxurious commodities. How do you know that? They say Eden means pleasant, luxurious. So when the Most High put man here, and in this garden, he put their luxurious goods. So which are these luxurious goods? You can do without, but the Most High loves you too much. So he put this garden, you look at these flowers, they are very beautiful. And then it was a perfumed garden. So in this place, we find that it's a perfumed garden. There is no other perfumed garden in the world except this one. So the Most High made this place luxurious, and then he called it Eden. So Eden didn't disappear. Due to human activities and the fall of man, you know what happened in the Nile Valley? There was knowledge, good and evil, right? So you see how people fell. The Babylonians, they rose, they had a lot of knowledge, they fell. The Egyptians, they fell. The Assyrians, they fell. The Cushites, they fell. And all these other kingdoms. You know why? That is where there was knowledge. So the Europeans came for luxurious goods. They came to take the perfume. They came to take the precious stones. They came to take the unique trees and go and plant. That's why the Greeks were naming everything. Now somebody tells me maize is called, I don't know, corn, I know in my language, and then tells me the botanical name is maize. You see, the Greek didn't have maybe these things, but he came all over the world conquering and renaming. You see, he came renaming. Why? He's renaming something even he doesn't know. He gave names to, the Most High gave Adam the authority to name everything. Then this Grecian comes to your land. He has never seen a leopard, but he just calls this Panthera, Panthro, I don't know what. You see, so they came to destroy what the Most High or the first man had made. So the thing is this, I know I'm a native person, which means my ancestors were ancient. Even though I live in America, Europe, wherever, I know I'm ancient and I'm attached to the land of the ancient people. So my Eden, my garden, I'll just place it in East Africa. I'm not going to another place, all right? So the remnants of the garden are there. That's why the Greeks and the Romans and all these people came to conquer these places, and they knew also there is knowledge. So they came for the good knowledge and the bad knowledge. And when they started idolatry and creating religions, remember they came to Egypt first, to Babylon, to Sumeria. They took the knowledge, they went with it, they made it, they mixed it with their gods, those gods, the moon gods they used to worship, and then they made it like a cocktail, and then now they brought it back to the people. But how are they doing this? Through merchants. They are coming, we are coming to buy, we are coming to buy perfume, we are coming to buy this, we are coming to buy this. So they are not going to tell me that Eden is in Turkey, and that's where the Ark of Noah landed, and that is where the river Euphrates and the Tigris originates. I won't believe that, because in Turkey there is no garden, there is no myrrh, there is no frankincense, there is no perfumed garden there. I can't believe that, because it was luxurious. The Most High put luxury, believe that is the Eden, all right? So our Eden, we just bring it to the east of our land, all right? So they came for this. Another thing is spices. You know very well, you can eat food without spices. You can survive without spices. But the Most High put this thing in that place. So that's why I believe our Eden was not destroyed. There is still patches and remnants that will remind you that this is the place the Most High had made beautiful, had designed and put the things you will need to live a luxurious life that a human being at times wants to live, right? So these are the things: spices, coffee, incense, myrrh, precious stones, and unique trees, all right? So Europeans came to the Nile Valley to look for luxurious goods like spices, coffee, incense. And on the incense part of it, I'll give you a secret. To this day, churches from all over the world and these people from other religions buy frankincense from East Africa. This is where they come to buy incense. So if their Eden is there, it should have incense. So they buy incense to go and take to their gods from here, East Africa. They come here for precious stones as well. Knowledge and spirituality, well, technology and science, astronomy. This is where they came to take things from the garden, unique items, luxurious items, and knowledge, good and evil, good and bad was here. So that's why I believe that this is the place man lived, and this is where man fell. This is the fall of man was here in the Nile Valley. The fall of man was here, and there is enough proof. Why? The remnants of the fall are everywhere. How will you know that? You will see pyramids. That's why the Most High just left that as evidence. Go to Egypt, you will find pyramids. You go to where the Sumerians were and the Assyrians in Meroe, Sudan, pyramids. You go to Libya, pyramids. You go to Somalia, pyramids. And even they used to have, you know, their pyramids are funny. They have like honeycomb, it's like a honeycomb, it's like an anthill. You know, it's very unique. And these houses, the Somalis used to build is like tombs. And then when the people used to come from Egypt, they used to love to see those kind of architecture. Like they used to love to see how they build those tombs. So there is evidence that this is Eden. The river Euphrates and Tigris must be here. All right, not there in where they show you. No, it's a lie. And this is East, this is Mocha. The fall of man was here because the garden, the perfumed garden of frankincense is here. They come from all over the world. They come from Rome to buy incense in Africa, but they will never write that in the papers. They will never expose that. They came here for spices. Then they lied to us that they were looking for a sea route to India. Which sea route? Is there another sea route? Just stand in the port of Mombasa, look straight, you will see India. Stand in the coast of Somalia, just wait for the trade winds. You don't need anything else because we didn't have boats with engines. Our boats were called dhows. They had like a cloth on top. So you wait for the winds. Stand in Mozambique. Stand at the coastline of Tanzania. All right? Face east. Wait for the winds. There you are, you reach India. How come they will say they're looking for sea route? There is no sea route they were looking for. They were looking for how they can steal things and pass them through the Red Sea and make the Suez Canal so that they can ship their things to Europe in an easy way instead of circumnavigating. My English is lost. Instead of going this way around the Atlantic Ocean, round like that. All right, so that is what happened. They are liars, they are liars. So they came here for luxurious goods because they know the Garden of Eden still, the remains are there. The remains are there, and then the tree of knowledge still, there is some knowledge still that the fallen angels left here. So we the people who fell, we are the people. We started, we got the knowledge, we fell, the Most High told us, don't do this, don't do that, but so we are the people and this is the place, all right? So don't go to another place. If you go east of Eden, you are going to the land where Cain went to wander. Don't go there, just stay here. stay in your boundaries. All right. So they never tell you that in East Africa there is a baobab. You know baobab, those big trees in Madagascar. They only show you Madagascar. In East Africa, in Ethiopia, they have baobabs. And baobabs are trees that are very ancient, and the Africans normally say that the baobab is a tree of life, symbolically. That's what they say. So they love the tree very, very much, and they have legends and very good stories about that, all right? So the garden is in East, is in Mocha. It's a perfumed garden. It has incense. It has fruit trees. It has trees like the baobab. It has spices. So that's how we know that the Most High was here. All right. So this one was just a foundation for those who want to understand why is Sister saying that Lebanon is here in Africa, all right? Why is Sister saying this? All right, Sister, you want to say something about this? Yes, Dada.
Okay, yes, I was just, as you talk, I'm pulling up information to show them to substantiate what you're saying. And this is saying the frankincense that you're talking about. It says the Boswellia papifera is one of the most important multi-purpose tree species here. Listen, this is key. In Central and East Africa, our lands. Central Africa, we know where that's at. Congo region, all those, Zambia, all those areas over there. Well, Zambia's east. Central Africa and East Africa is where it's found. And she's talking about what was in our land, what the Bible says about our land. And so we look at this information and to dispel the lies that we have been told in regards to where the land is and who the people are in that land that were indigenous to that land. That's all. I'm just showing them information as you talk.
Yeah. Good job. Sorry. All right. So if they ask us if this is Eden, if we are the ancient people, yes, because the rise and fall of man happened here. We have all the plants we need. All the plants we need for our life, to live, to eat, all the herbs we have here. So if they tell me that is their Eden, I want to go to Turkey. I want to see how many plant species, different plant species they have there in that Turkey. They are telling me that the ark landed there, that is their Eden. So because it's their Eden now, those rivers that were coming from their home, they call them Tigris and Euphrates, and then they come and steal the other part here in Africa, and they say, even the Nile is part of the four. Now the question is this: if the Garden of Eden is in Turkey, and the river came from to water the garden, and it had four streams or tributaries, the question is this: one tributary will be in Africa, and then there is a sea in the middle. How can that tributary cross over the sea and go and join with your river there in your Eden over there? Does it really make sense? Then they say, yes, the Nile is part of the river, and then our Euphrates and Tigris is here. It doesn't make sense that all this is Eden. The question is this: you are in Eden, yes. Where is the perfumed garden? Do you have incense and frankincense in that? Where is it? You just started drinking coffee recently, a few centuries ago, and we've been drinking coffee thousands of years. Then you say you have a luxurious garden there in Turkey. Even the climate, you want to tell me in Eden people are feeling that cold? You see, it's a very big lie. So we have the rivers and the streams. So we know the truth. They are going to lie to us. We have the fruit trees and the medicinal plants. They came to Africa to look for medicinal plants. We know, and they came even to search for the knowledge of medicine and surgery and even the bad knowledge and astrology and astronomy. So they came here. So now we know where the early man settled. The early man settled here, this Nile Valley civilization. So this is our east, this is our place. And our Lebanon will be near this place. It will not be on the Mediterranean Sea, because the Lebanon is also a mountain that has fragrance. So read the Songs of Solomon and the book of Psalms. You will find that. That's why I went to the beginning in Eden, so that you can understand how Lebanon looked like and what could have been the smell of the Lebanon. Once you enter that forest, you're going to take your cedar trees. What kind of smell will be there, aroma, what kind of scent will be there, all right? So we have gold and the rest. And there was gold in the Nile Valley, lot of gold. Remember, no gold, no civilization. No gold, no civilization. So they should not lie to you. To start any civilization, you need these things. So you have one Liban. There is a Liban. There are different names for Lebanon. So there is a Liban in Somalia. There is the other one we saw in the Alo Mountains. We have Lebanon and different kinds of Lebanon. Many different kinds of Lebanon, all right? So that was just an introduction of that. For our sisters who wants to know about Lebanon, is it this or it's whatever? Yes, sister, if you have the clips, you can just share with us as we move on.
Which one are you talking about now? I just showed the ones of Lebanon.
Liban, yeah.
Okay, you want me to put those back up?
Yeah. If they are next, you can. So as she's getting that, you will see this. Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Israel, Palestine. These are new countries. These countries never existed. All these countries were called Syria when they were ruled by the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire ruled that place for 600 years. The same way they ruled, these people ruled Portugal for 700 years. They ruled this region for 600 years. This region, all these lands were under the Ottoman tax. Those who had this, whatever, Constantinople or the Byzantine and the rest. So these were all known as Syria. There was no Israel, there was no Lebanon. So these are just their myths and mysticism. You see, they just got Christianity from the Byzantine or Constantinople, or how you call him. And they started imagining this is our Jerusalem, this is our Lebanon, this is what, just because cedars were there. But there was, the perfume garden was not there. There were no other flowers, because Lebanon has flowers too, right? So during the fall of the Ottoman Empire was 1922. And it's around this time that they created a state called Lebanon. And then the 1948 people, 20 years later, moved in and they made a 1948 state, right? So no land is, okay, this was called Syria, the whole of that land, isn't it? Now, there is no land called Syria in the Bible or Assyria. This is just been changed by translators. There is no land in the scripture called Syria or Assyria. When you look at the Strong's Concordance, they changed the name of Aram, who spoke Aramaic, who was our uncle, who was a brother to Arphaxad. They changed his name from Aram to Syria, so that they can take the land, the history. They changed the name of Ashur, who was our uncle, who was a brother to our father, Arphaxad. They changed his name from Ashur to Assyria, so that when they bring their histories from the Byzantine and the Ottoman and whatever, and their mysticisms and their myths, they can fit that with the scriptures. So if these lands were called Syria under the Ottoman Empire, and there is no Syria in the scripture, there is no Lebanon there. So my people get it. There is no Lebanon there. So in the Songs of Solomon, you'll find out that, and even in the Psalms, you'll find out that they say that the Most High is the one who made the Lebanon. And Lebanon must not be just one mountain. It could be there were several. So if the Most High had made this Lebanon, that's why when he wants his temple being built, he said, go to that place. I don't care who lives there, it belongs to who, but tell those people to give you the timber from there. Because he's the one who put the Lebanon there. He's the one who put the cedars there. He knows where they are, right? So you as a person, when you plant a garden, do you just plant one kind of a tree? Or you plant one kind of a vegetable? You just leave about this GMO and this, their Scientology, they are bringing these days. They just grow one crop in a piece of land. The traditional garden, do you just plant one item? No, you put kales here, you put oranges, orange trees here, you put your spices here, this is how the garden was. So when you just get in that Garden of Eden, you just want to sit there and lay there and relax, because you know what, the spices are smelling from here, the coffee, the scent is coming from here, the flowers, the herbs, the frankincense, the cedar trees, the fir, the cypress, the pine trees. There was a lot of aroma in that forest, in those kind of, because these are ancient forests and the Most High planted them on purpose. So if they're lying to us, they should not come to Africa to take frankincense from Africa to go and put in those altars and their churches in Rome. Let them plant their own. They are coming here to the garden to steal and take all these luxurious goods, and then they start to change history and then tell us that they were there in the Mediterranean. Did you see frankincense trees and spices in the Mediterranean Sea? They are telling you the Phoenicians were in the Mediterranean. Okay, we will go to another thing at a lot of evidence. The question is, the thing is this: how do you sail and you didn't even have a calendar? This your month, your seasons, and then
Okay, she's going in and out.
sail using the trade winds, and we had calendar. The Bantus had their own calendar. Salama, I'm on and off.
You're going in and out, we're losing you, so we're missing some of the information that you're sharing with us, Dada.
My network is good? No.
It's been
My
going in.
network is bad?
It's okay right now, but before it was going in and out.
We don't have
All
a
right.
video.
Okay, I will just, okay. All right. I will just repeat what I just said. So I said this, these people come to Africa to take incense, to take to their churches and to take to their gods. So if they want their garden to be there, let them place their garden there. They should not come here to buy these luxurious goods, right? So the Lebanon, they are talking about the Lebanon, the Most High made the Lebanon. And Lebanon is not only one forest. Because when as you will see in the Songs of Solomon and in the book of Psalms, there was a very good aroma in Lebanon. So when you plant a garden, you don't plant one kind of a plant. So leave alone these new systems of planting, they just plant one crop. A traditional garden, you make your kales here, you put your spices here, you put your orange trees here. It's a mix of everything. So this garden had this aroma, you know. There was the smell of the spices, there was the frankincense, there were the flowers, the trees, the cedar trees, the pine trees, the cypress trees, the fir. All these trees have their own scent. And when they make perfume, they don't make perfume from only one kind of an ingredient. That one they know. So how come the cedars of Lebanon will only be, the mountain will only have one kind of a tree? It's not possible. That is a native indigenous forest. It has all types of things and it has a good scent, as they say. So the book of Psalm and Solomon, they say, the Most High made the Lebanon. So these perfumed gardens are made by the Most High. So it's a lie when they say that the frankincense and the trade with the frankincense and the spices and with their Phoenicians, they did it on the Mediterranean. It's not possible, right? And we saw that these countries were not called what they are called now. It's a new term, all right? So this country was created in that year. The other one was created in that year, all right? All right? So during Ottoman rule, the term Syria was used to designate the approximate area, including the present-day Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Palestine, and Israel. So all these lands were called Syria. And this is the years they were born. So somebody telling you about a new Lebanon, it's not the biblical Lebanon. And no trade happened there on the Mediterranean, all right? So, Bantu words for incense. This is how we call incense, ubani. So Leban means of the incense. So that mountain must have trees with incense. You know, even cypress, a cypress tree, a pine tree, a fir, they have different kind of scents, good scents, all right? Eucalyptus, you get eucalyptus oil, isn't it? So even a eucalyptus tree has its own aroma. It's not only about the cedar we're talking about, right? So in Soto, Libano, Kinyarwanda, Ububani, in Nyanja, Lubani, all right? And this is what they say, Cedrus Liban, Libanus in Latin, all right? So you'll find that place called Liban in Shebele. There is a river there called Shebele. That is the place where you'll find. And Shebele means the leopard. So it's very possible that the Sidonians were around this region because they call the Shebele means leopard. So that river, they call it a river of the leopard, right? So there is a Bantu still living between River Juba and Shebele. So Juba and Shebele are just near Kenya. All right, they're just near Kenya. So that is where you'll find another Lebanon, another Liban. So I have to go and investigate if there are cedar trees there as well.